Hello everybody, welcome back or welcome to Elderflower Stitches. My name is Susie and this is my little spot on the internet to talk all things knitting, sewing and yarn dyeing. This week I'm joining you on a slightly later time. It's Sunday evening now. We have just been out for a lovely roast dinner with some friends. It was my friend's birthday, hence my rather jazzy top this evening. Yeah, we had a lovely time. We went to a local pub, had a roast dinner and just caught up with friends. We've got like a little group of us who I guess originally it was through the rugby club that people met, but people have kind of come and gone and we just sort of have our little group of friends now. And some of which have babies and young children, so they were there and we got to have cuddles and meet all of them. And yeah, it was just a really nice chilled evening. And one of my friends that was there, Becca, she's a knitter herself, so hi Becca if you're watching. It was lovely chatting all about knitting and crafty stuff with her, so that was lovely. We were both hoping to go to Socks on the Beach, not this weekend coming, but next weekend. But unfortunately with everything going on, it's the most sensible thing that it's been postponed for a couple of months. So we'll look forward to meeting more local knitters and sewers, well, knitters really, and crocheters, I suppose, at a later date. So there we go. I hope that with everything going on, you are keeping well and keeping safe and keeping as sane as possible, because I know it's a worrying time for lots of people, and some of us are a lot more sensitive to that kind of panic than others, and some of us are a lot more vulnerable to these kind of illnesses. And if you have a friend or a relative who's perhaps poorly and has other issues that make it difficult for them to keep well, then this is a particularly worrying time for you. So thoughts and prayers are with everybody really, that we just keep ourselves safe and think about others in the decisions that we're making. It's a tough time, but hopefully it will help lots of people to draw together rather than grow apart. So anyway, shall we talk knitting? I actually got myself a coffee this time. I've got oh, nearly chucked it at you. This sweet little mug. It was actually a little gift, an end of year gift from one of my pupils. I really like mugs as gifts because one, I use them lots, so that's always really nice, and two, I remember who each of them were from when I have a cup of coffee from them. I've got one still from years ago, and every time I have a coffee in that mug I always think of that pupil, so it's really lovely. Shall we talk finished objects? So I do still need to weave in the ends, but I have officially cast off my snuggle down cowl, and I'm trying to think, had I cast it on last week? I think perhaps I had. Anyway, so I decided to knit it up in my Parma Violets Minis fade set and hold it with a strand of Opulence. So here is my cowl. I actually only did it five colour changes long, if that makes sense. So it's slightly shorter because it's meant to be 7. But once I'd knit the 5, I kind of tried it on, and for what I want it for, I think it's actually long enough. So my plan is to wear it all kind of bunched, you know, snuggled up around my face, and then still be able to wear a scarf if I want to. But this is keeping my neck and my chin and, you know, my nose as well if I want to, keeping everything warm. And I wonder if because I knit it with Opulence, which is a 4-ply, it's made the fabric a bit kind of sturdier, I guess. So I didn't need quite so much length to make the cowl. I'm definitely going to make a second one with the 7 colour changes to compare, but also just to have a longer one if I should fancy it. And I'm thinking that will probably be in point shoes or buttermint, probably buttermint actually, because then it will match my mittens and my hat. But yes, there's my lovely snuggle down cowl. It's a beautiful pattern. Jules has a lovely way of writing the patterns, very clear and very easy to follow with lovely pictures. Yeah, really enjoyed making it actually. Came together really nicely. That's the stitch pattern. And I love the way the 2 yarns held together. I just love the way they look. I think it makes this really nice mild effect. And I love how the fade looks as well. You could wear it either way up, but I quite like having the purple at the top. So that's my snuggle down cowl, cast off, very exciting. And then before I talk about WIPs, I want to talk about a finished object that I showed last week. And you're probably thinking, why are you banging on about these buttermint mittens again? But I wore them on Saturday at the rugby and they were super cozy and warm. However, my thumb actually goes down to there and you can see that it's not enough space. So I need to make the thumb longer, and actually the hand as well is quite stretched. So either I'm going to have to undo the end and pick up the stitches and knit it longer, or I undo the end and unravel to about here and here and just do a bit of ribbing and then cast off and have them as fingerless mitts. I think that will be my plan. But yeah, so that's going to be maybe back to being a WIP this week as I make a plan to keep them all wearable. Sometimes in the past I've made things and they haven't worked out and then I just go, oh well, that's a lesson learned. But I don't want to do that. It's a lovely yarn and I'm really pleased with how they feel on, how cozy they are. But for them to be more wearable, I need to take them down, turn them into little fingerless mitts, and then they're more usable as well for driving and things. So there we go. That's that plan. I do have a new WIP, which I cast on yesterday, and I'm keeping it in this bag, which is one of my bags, but it has the beautiful So Sweet Violet pin on there. That's Jules's lovely logo, because I did have my snuggle down cowl in this bag, so it seemed appropriate to have her pin on there. So I have started a little pair of socks, and these are a completely vanilla pair of socks. And I'm knitting them in my Point Shoes Minis Fade set. I did the toe in the darker colour, I did a whirlwind toe, and then I've just faded through to, I'm now on colour number 4, and I'm doing my heel increases, and I'm doing the heel from the Soul Sisters socks, which is the Go Day heel by Jules and Amy, and it is the easiest heel I've ever done. Every other heel, Fish Lips Kiss heel, any other heel that I've done, I just end up with holes and then I get really disheartened. But with the Go Day heel, it always seems to work out. So I'm very excited to be knitting another pair of socks, and I can't believe how quickly I am managing to knit these up. I seem to have really picked up a lot of speed with my knitting over the last maybe month, I guess. I can, yeah, do a row of knit stitches in quite good time, especially on tiny little sock needles. They're so small, I guess, to manoeuvre around. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. When I changed colour for the toe, I literally just changed colour, whereas when I changed colour for the throughout the rest of the sock, I tried to fade it in more. So you can see I've been weaving in my ends as I go, which is very handy. But when I changed colour, I brought in the new colour, did a row with that, and then a row with the old colour, new colour, old colour, and then completely changed to the new colour. So there was a bit of alternating as I went through, which meant that when you look at it, you don't see this harsh stripe like you do with the toe, but it is more faded in. I know we've got artificial lights, so it's not really great lighting, but it's the evening, so hopefully you don't mind. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with those. They're coming together nicely. They'll be shorty socks, so they won't be on the needles for much longer, and I'll get the second one on. I've got a few more rounds of increases to go, and then I'll do the heel flap. So yeah, exciting. They're coming together really quickly, and I'm loving how that they are looking. Very pretty. Anything else I need to tell you about my socks? Don't think so. I'm going to switch back to the darkest colour. Put it in here. I'm going to switch back to the darker colour for the heel and probably for the cuff as well. So that should be quite a nice effect. Yeah. Shall I show you each of the colours? Okay, managed to untangle them. So here are the colours from the Point Shoes fade set. So this is the darkest. I had to turn this into a little gobstopper ball because although my lovely new winder is really reliable and really good, just occasionally I get a blobby cake, so I had to rewind that one. Then this is the next colour, so it's slightly lighter. This looks darker, I think, where it's in the gobstopper rather than a cake. And then you go into this colour, and then I'm currently on, just unwinding it so I don't lift up the sock, colour number 4, and then finally I will have colour number 5. So this is where I'm doing the heel increases. Then I'll do the heel flap in the darker colour, and then I'll do a little bit of stitching around the ankle, and then I'll switch back to this colour to do the cuff, and then I'll be done, and I'll be on to sock number 2. So there we go, Point Shoes socks. Lovely. I have another WIP to talk to you about. So I posted a picture of my rainbow bundle, which you can see behind me. I'm planning on turning my rainbow bundle into a So Faded sweater because I recently started following the hashtag on Instagram, and I'm now a bit obsessed with the So Faded jumper. I'm very late to the party on this, but I'm only on my first jumper at the moment, so I feel like I'm very new to the world of jumper knitting and I'm very excited about doing one. So before I can cast on a new jumper, need to finish my Suzie jumper. I repeat, I need to finish my Suzie jumper. So this beautiful pattern is by Anna Dervu, I think I'm saying that right, from Along Avec Anna, and I started this last year. It's knit in 4-ply sock yarn with a strand of mohair, and I started it off in It's in my very first project bag. This is my very first round base project bag, and I've got my little Mabel pin on there. Can you see her? Hello, Mabel. Yes, it's in here. So I started it off in this yarn, which is Loom Wool's White Peach, and I've saved some so I can do the top of the sleeves. So I've done the whole kind of down to here, and then I switched to I was saying it was point shoes, but to be honest, it's probably darker than I dye my point shoes up now. This was when I first started dyeing, before I sold any. And then I'm finishing off the bottom of the sweater and the cuff in this one, which is Peach Bellini, which is quite a bit darker than point shoes. It's, I guess, because it is the same family, it's quite similar to the darkest colour in the fade set. And yeah, so I'm doing the hem very soon. I think it's getting longer. But it just, one round seems to take a lifetime, and so it's been in the naughty corner for a little while, but I'm thinking I want to get it finished so I can cast on and make another jumper. I've got quite a bit to do because, as I said, I've still got to do the hem, then I've got both sleeves to do, which need picking up, and then I also need to do the ribbing around the neckline, so there's quite a bit of work still to do. I'm not convinced I've done it in the right size needles, because that's a 4. So I think I've done them in 3.5s. This is a 4 that I knit my snuggle down cowl in, and I think that looks like a 3.5, doesn't it? So I think that's probably slowed me down, and that's a shame, but never mind. I've been kind of holding it against myself as I go along, so I know it's still going to fit. It's not a worry about that, but it probably would have been quicker in 4mm needles than 3.5s. So there we go. But isn't it pretty? I think the smaller needles are probably for doing the cuff and the neckband in ribbing. But I didn't know that when well, I mean, if I'd read the pattern, obviously I would, but I wasn't a confident enough knitter, an experienced enough knitter to realise when you have 2 needle sizes, normally the smaller one is for the ribbing. I didn't really, that's like a new thing for me. So yeah, I need to get that finished, and then I can knit myself a nice rainbow so faded jumper in my little pastel bundle. Something I meant to say, I'm not having a shop update this week. I was going to be dyeing up and prepping for the Socks on the Beach pop-up shop that I was going to do, which obviously I won't be doing now that the event's postponed. So I think I might have like a little Socks on the Beach postponed party in my yarn shop, and have a little discount or free delivery or something like that for people who would like some yarn on the weekend that Socks on the Beach would have been. Something I meant to say was I do my little fade sets in minis, but if you wanted a fade set like this in full size skeins, I would be more than happy to dye that up for you. So it's not something that's listed on my site, because it's not something that I have a sample of. But if you wanted a fade set in any of the colours, but on full size skeins, I'd be more than happy to dye that up for you. And I always take custom orders because I love knowing that people have got a project in mind. So I've had a few orders recently where people have said, I want to knit this and I like this colourway, which base should I get? And we have a little kind of to and fro as we work it out. And I love thinking that my yarn is part of this really special project that somebody's planned out really carefully, so I'm always happy to take custom orders and mix and match things and stuff. So yeah, just let me know. The thing is, I can't list every possibility in the shop because it would be like overwhelming to look at, but if you see colours and you think, oh, I'd quite like this with that, and I'm always happy to kind of put things together, so yeah, let me know. So that went off in a bit of a tangent, didn't it? Yes, so no shop update this week because I'd kind of carved out the time to do some dyeing up for socks on the beach, and then when I didn't have to do that, I thought, well, I will knit some socks. So, and I went to watch my husband play rugby yesterday, which was really nice because I often don't have time on the weekends to kind of go, especially when it's an away game. That was really nice. But yeah, all my yarns are still in the shop in terms of dyed to order. All the colourways are there. So although I haven't had an update, all the things that I've mentioned previously are still in the shop. And I have relisted the mini skein Lucky Dip. There's a few minis in there that are so they're all 20 gram minis on super sock base. They come individually labelled with their colour or which fade set they're from, or that kind of thing. Yeah, exciting. I like doing the Lucky Dips because yeah, I like thinking all these like pretty little minis are going to end up in people's socks or advent knits or something like that. Oh, that reminds me, I've had a couple of messages asking about Advent, and if you are not the type to talk about Christmas before October, skip ahead a few minutes. But if you would like to talk Christmas, then we will talk Christmas. So I am absolutely thrilled that people have been in touch asking whether I will be doing an advent calendar this year for Christmas. And yes, I absolutely will be. I'm just working out now how that will work structurally. I know that Sherry of Sherry Iris has got the fantastic plan of doing deposits and then a final payment afterwards, which I think is lovely and really inclusive for people who, well, for most of us really, who can't just pay out the full price of an advent calendar in one go, because it's generally quite steep because it's a lot of yarn and a lot of work. So I really like that idea. So I might do something along the lines of doing a deposit and then a final payment later on. It would be 24 minis, 20 gram minis and Christmassy goodies. I'm trying to decide whether to offer an option for a project bag to go with it, because I could make the project bags over the summer holidays, so that's doable. And to be honest, I'll probably do most of the work for the advent calendars in the summer holidays, except for packaging them up. So my answer is yes, I will be doing an advent calendar. I haven't got a theme for you yet, so I'm kind of between a couple of different ideas. I'm looking at what people have done before and making sure it's not too similar to anyone else's kind of previous advent calendar, and finding a theme that has enough possible colourways that will all kind of fit together in some way. I like it to have colours that tie them together. So like when I did my Easter advent, each of the colours follow on to the next one, so there'll always be like a bit of overlap in terms of like they've both got a bit of yellow and then the next one has both got a bit of peach or something, so that they fit nicely together. So it's a yes to advents, and I'm just working out the finer details at the moment, and then I will list early bird slots or deposit slots or something probably within the next month, I'll probably sit down and have a good think about it over Easter break or something, and then I'll let you know. Yeah, what else do I need to think of? Oh, I did talk a little while ago about doing a monthly box, not a monthly box, but a monthly sock club, and it kind of, I can't believe it's March. Basically my plan was to get it set up for March so that it was starting in spring. I guess it's not too late to do a March one still, but it would just mean it would be sent out at the end of the month. So yeah, I will be listing slots in my Etsy shop for March sock club, and then a March, April, May, so you can get all of spring in one go, and then April and May separately, so that you can either do the 3 in one go or 1 month at a time. And then I'll do the same again for summer, autumn and winter, and I'm quite excited about the colourways coming up with that. They will all be themed around seasonal flowers, because yeah, I think that's like a really, you can really see how the colours change through the seasons, because when you get your first flush of flowers in the spring, they're like really bright yellows, and then through the summer you start to get all the rich pinks and very pretty. So seasonal flowers sock club will be listed on Etsy, and you'll be able to order yourself some socks. Well, not some socks. I won't knit the socks for you, but you can order yourself a sock set, and it will be a full skein and then a mini skein to go with it, so it'll be a proper sock set. And yeah, it'll be posted out. The March one will probably go out at the end of the month now, so it'll take me a week or so to get it together and then get them posted out, and then April and May. So I'll aim to get them out sort of early to mid-month ordinarily, but I just don't know where March has disappeared to. It's the 15th today. Anyway, I have waffled on for long enough. To round up, Advent's news will come soon, but yes, they will be happening, and monthly sock clubs will begin this month, and you can pick those up on Etsy. So yes, thank you so much for all your wonderful comments. I was really touched by some lovely messages from my last video when I launched the Pastel Pride rainbow bundle. That had lots of really nice messages from people supporting my decision to give some of the profits to an LGBT human rights organisation, and yeah, just kind of being grateful for raising awareness, or just making my standpoint clear. So that was lovely. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for all of the orders on the rainbow bundles. They're still available in the shop as a mini bundle or a full skein bundle. You can choose the base as well for your full skein bundle, so you could have like a full skein bundle all on chunky alpaca if you wanted to, or opulence or flossy, whatever you like. And what else? What else do I need to tell you? I think that's everything. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I think I've got a bit of vlogging footage right at the end. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a lovely week and stay safe and healthy, and I will see you next weekend, hopefully with a finished pair of socks, maybe a pair of fingerless mitts, and perhaps with the ribbing on my Suzie sweater. So I will see you then. Something I keep forgetting to explain is why I have a KitchenAid in my craft room. So I actually use my KitchenAid to twist the skeins into lovely little twisted things there. So I have my kneading hook on my KitchenAid, and then I hook the end of the loop of yarn, on the skein of yarn, onto the end of it and hold the other end, and I twist it. I turn the KitchenAid on, let it twist around a couple of times, and then I fold it in half, and it makes a beautifully neat skein, a twisted skein every time. So that's why I have a KitchenAid in my craft room.